and drops dead. If not, let's get into the game and let's just continue forward. It's been a fun day thus far. I'm having a great time. It's so much fun to watch different regions and again, really analyze the way they play, see what they bring differently to the table. I'm excited to get into this matchup with you.
Early pass up out of that corner from Kaio. They weren't able to get the finish though. Card gonna bring it down. You know, so far, passing plays coming out from both teams. Both teams looking to try and get something done. They're looking for creative passes, bringing them infield there, looking for Card, but Pon is there to break that up. And another one, cut. It looks like infield pass so far is the name of the game. Both teams looking for that.
We'll see how things ensue, as a couple of challenges do go down in midfield, but it's Panda going to send that one towards the top of the bar, and Tander will take it away. And the interesting thing about both of these teams is that, again, I think there were a lot of favorites just from our caster side, right? Our discussions, there were favorites for Ellevens to make their way through the bracket relatively easily. We were expecting a 3-0, and the fact 100%. That it didn't happen is just kind of an eye-opener, right? I mean, I guess, yeah, it's Major's time, but still.
There it is. There it is. Great control from Tander to slow that down at the last second and get that underflip to make sure he gets that angle down. He was coming in an upward angle, and he had to get the car control to re-angle that ball down. Great touch from him. Slows it, catches the defender off guard. Early goal for them as we get under just 4 minutes left here in game number 1.
We'll see how Ellevens can respond, but it's Pan bringing it back out towards his corner, and we'll try to swing this one, but a good challenge ensues. A booming clear. Not able to get there in time. Thought for a minute. Open Here comes net. The follow-up. And there it is, Super. You saw before it even happened. Talk to me about that open net.
Yeah, this clear here from Card, he's in a rotation. He has to try and get a hit. He wanted that more into the wall. He ended up a little bit ahead of that ball, and it ended up bringing it infield just enough. Ends up putting it right on the nose of the opposite team, and nothing he can do about it. I think that was Zaro. Ends up punishing for it and punches it in. And to go back to what you were saying beforehand, before goal number 1, you're kind of talking about 11. I mean, coming in, Grand Series number 1, Card gonna score here. Never mind, we're just not going to be able to get a word in edgewise here as both teams are just throwing down back and forth.
It's like, you talking to me? You talking about us? Okay, I'll take this one myself. But yeah, look, back and forth, this is kind of what we expected. I think one of the things about whether you want to talk about APAC regions or even Latin America, the competition is fierce when we talk about the top 2-3 teams, but it's not as widespread as a North American region, as a European region. So you're seeing a lot of the same faces over and over again, and that just means that these teams will know each other much more cohesively than an open bracket, let's say in the European region, where you have hundreds and hundreds of teams competing for very small spots.
Ooh, interesting pass there from Card. Gets it down. Kaio able to beat out Gonk and get it up, but can't actually get enough power into it to create anything. Tander, great cut. Kaio looking for it. Going to be wide, but back to Tander. And that one's in. 3-1. Scoreline starting to open up.
I think this is what we expected from this squad. We just expected prolific offense, and this is what we're finally getting. They play the ball into the sidewall, and that leaves it out-centered. Teammates there for support. Everyone does everything. The Brexit boy said it best. I will never stop using that nickname. You can't pay me to do so. It's a 3-1 lead currently with 2:55. And they're going to take this back out towards the side. It's Pan to get off the sidewall. 2 touches there.
Touch.
What a phenomenal goal.
Beautiful touch there from Pon. Zaro passes it down to him, out off the back wall to himself, right underneath. Catches Card stuck on that near post. No way he's getting turned around and getting back for that ball.
3-2, plenty of time in this one. Still, we're going to go the distance, and we should. As Zaro and Pon will try to bring this into the corner, but a big challenge from Tander comes out. Everyone's missing in the air, and a big bump. So now we'll move it back to midfield. Should we? Yeah, here comes Gonk. He'll do just that. Interesting card choice, and that's down on net, but saved away and a bump out. But the offense continues, and it looks like they'll have a second chance, but a good defensive hold thus far.
Yeah, Gonk not able to get there for that one. Zaro puts one up, and Card's going to bring this one out off the back wall, trying to take it himself out over Gonk. And they're trying to get something going here, but they really haven't been able to break out of their half here. 11 hasn't been able since they got that third goal to really get downfield. And as I say that, Kaio's going to bring one in. He makes a second touch, takes it right away from Card. That was an open net goal that he just stole away from his teammate.
You could tell he wanted to pinch it so badly, but just was not able to do so. Tander off the ceiling, and Kyle will be there, third man back, but it's Card currently in net, wasn't able to get the bump out, and with that, the transition will swing, and now we'll see the rotation come in.
Touch.
That's going to go a little high to the left and back down to the corner. Super, a couple of withering shots, but even with this 3-2 scoreline, it's back and forth with these teams, something I did not expect going into game one.
Yeah, I mean, coming in after doing the research and checking out the teams and seeing what's going on and looking at a team like 11, this is a team you expect to come in and just be dominant, right? You're talking about Grand Series, second in Grand Series 1, first in Grand Series number 2, through all the Prime Series, first, fifth, sixth, first. They won 5 of 6 of the Primes, landed 5th, 6th in one of them, had a little bit of an off day. First and second in the Grand Series. This is a team that is dominating this region. And for these matches to be close, I don't know if it's just an off day for them, but they need to pick this up. I want to see the 11 that has been crushing it throughout this region.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit to get going, especially on a major day. I mean, there's a reason that pool play exists and open brackets exist. You never know, but you got to step up and, when it's called upon, make the play. Shot on net, gets saved away. Boomy clear the other way, and Tander tried to redirect it. Will get a touch there. It's going to slow roll into the side. Kyle was thinking about a second touch and extending, but with a 3-2 lead, now you have to play perfect defense, try to hold on in this game one win as they're going to try to read this off the backboard.
That's not the way to do it. That one's a little scary. Bit of a double and a triple commit there from them, but Tander going to bring it down himself. Zaro able to knock it away. But yeah, they just need to hold it off. They just need to set up defensively, hold the ball. You don't want to overcommit at this point. There's just no reason. Eat the clock. Kyle going to be able to get a nice touch. That's going to eat a couple more seconds, and they're able to just pin it here in this corner. They're taking all the time off the clock. Tander looking to send one more home before the clock runs out, unable to do so.
Carr going to bring it down to kill it. It's still up, and no one in a 50-foot range to be able to bring that in, and it's Ellevens who will take game one. Somewhat predictable, surely. If you asked us our predictions in the beginning, we would have said we expect Ellevens to take this series, but a much closer game one than I think a lot of people were expecting. And again, that's the interesting thing about this region, and for a lot of viewers, this is their first real-time seeing teams like this. So the story can write itself, and we'll see what Ellevens is able to do moving into game two.
Yeah, and, Kyle, Card, they tend to be those strikers on the side of 11. They ended up, Kyle, the defense, 5 saves. So really back and forth match here. Really, we were expecting probably a little bit more of a blowout on the score line here, but Nocturns holding their own, getting a ton of shots, getting downfield. They're getting their opportunities. They're jamming it up in the midfield and making stops and turning the ball around. They're playing solid rotations. They're getting in the way. We'll see if they can keep that up here. They're going to need to get a little bit more consistency and accuracy on that offensive end to try and turn this one around. But, there's a lot of time left. You got potentially 4 more matches to go through, but this is going to be an open net, easy one in the first 4 seconds, going the way of 11. Kaio just going to run right down off this touch. Tander puts it off the nose of Zaro, and it's just an open net. Gonk and Pan both went for mid-boost, and there's no one back to stop that.
When watching some of Ellevens' VODs, one of the things that I noticed specifically about this team was they always kept the game in front of them. And I know that sounds kind of, it's like a 1-2 punch, like, oh, really? They don't get behind? But what I mean is that they never seem too out of the moment. The moment never ever seems too big for them. And just even in that open goal, right? Like, you come off a very tough game one win. You take advantage of a gimme goal, which you should. And here we are again. It never seems like they let the game get away from their control. They're always there in the moment, controlling the ball, and they control the field with this hit.
Yeah, just an open net back there. All 3 players in the offensive half. No one back there to do anything about it. And Kaio's going to punish that immediately. Just punches one right down the gut. 2-0 in the opening 23 seconds of the match.
See, this is the Ellevens we were talking about before we expected them. Before we watched them, lose one of their series today. We're like, oh yeah, this should honestly probably be a cakewalk. And whenever we expect things as casters, it never goes our way.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that they're a bit more spread out here. There was a couple double commit issues, triple commits even on the back line in that first match, and you can see the spacing is much better here. The rotation has more field coverage on the side of 11, and it's working out for them so far. It's obviously cleaned up. Card going to try and make a touch here. There should be a defender for that one. Pon going to bring it out now. Looking for Zaro again. Midfield passes. That really seems to be, at least for this series, seems to be the name of the game. It is time and time again, both teams off the sidewall, keep looking for that, somebody's got to change it up. If you just keep going for the midfield pass, eventually, you're going to figure each other out, and it's just going to turn into a volleyball match. So somebody's got to look for something different.
No fear for Nocturns sending player after player on that attempt. They weren't able to break the ice, but here comes Gonk. Yeah, no one's going to be there. You're just not going to be able to catch up to him. The guy's too fast. And speaking of which, finally, Nocturns are able to find their first goal.
Yeah, Gonk with a great challenge there, able to maintain possession through it and gets just ahead of Kyle. Kyle just a car length too far down the field, unable to get turned around and get the momentum to get back and block that one out. 2-1, they are on the board. That is a good sign for Nocturns, opening up 2-0 the way that they did in the opening 23 seconds does not feel good. And a lot of times that can take a team out of it. It can get in your head. Clearly, they are still in this series.
It's anyone's game. It's only a 1-goal lead. And Ellevens have played pretty reserved on defense for the most part after finding those 2 back-end mistakes that Nocturns have yet to be able to rally from. They do cut it in half. A couple of big bumps. And Gonk going to try to recenter.
Tander on those bumps is literally just harassing that man, following him around. Couldn't get the bump, decides to go underneath and catch him so he can't drive away, then does a flip to flick him off his car. Just harassing that guy, the poor man. Leave him alone. He didn't do nothing.
Ooh. And we could be looking at another mistake in that lower third. I was going to say, a couple of goals this series have come from just, an open gap in the back third, so definitely want to clean up your rotations if you can.
I think all 3 of them have, actually.
Yeah.
Kickoff goal, nobody in the back. Then there was another punish from Kaio. And then, who's the one on the other side? Gonk. Gonk had the runaway. So holes in the back end on all of them.
Up to the corner. A couple of challenges will come out. It's Zaro with an awkward angle, but he will get there for the recovery. Up to Pond, who's going to try to bring it to midfield. Interception is Kaio. Again, roaming like a piranha, waiting for that ball to move forward. But still, a couple of defensive hits that have been won in the moment for Ellevens. They only hold on to a 1-goal lead, and that does give me pause and expecting them to not push on offense. But Kyle's going to try to break the mold here. He's going to follow the ball up towards the back wall. Nice touchdown, but no second teammate there for the extension.
He had the touch. Nobody came forward. I don't think he had enough of a touch to make it worth them going forward. Right onto the nose of Kaio. Zaro able to get there. Wasn't quite angled out enough to give that player a clean shot. I think it was a good decision for them to back out of that one and not come forward. I thought he was going to have it. They had a better read on it than I did.
I think Gonk might have missed his hit there as he tried to recenter, but now to commit. Up into the air and falling towards the back. It's Pond who's able to get it towards the corner. Tander intercepts. And they're going to bring this one back down to midfield. We hit the 60-second mark here in Game 2. A 1-0 series lead currently for Ellevens if you're just joining us. Kyle going to come off the sidewall. Extends it to Tander. Over both. That's what you love to see. Venga. Fantastico gol para uno fantastico jugador.
Exactly. I think that whatever you said, it happened. Tander gonna bring that one in, up 3-1, and this is looking more like the 11 that I was expecting to see. Coming into this off of the last Grand Series, in Stage 1 of the last Grand Series, they averaged only allowing opposing teams to score half a goal per game. So this is a team that is very strong on both ends of the field. This scoreline is more of what I was expecting to see.
Sometimes it's just about finding rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Awkward. But finding the rhythm, even with a team that can be as dominant as Ellevens. I think that the biggest issue sometimes is you let nerves get to you. It's a major weekend. You're trying to qualify through. It can be rough.
Oh, absolutely. Pond looking to try and get it over, but Kaio with some strong defense out again to block another one away from Zaro. Over Pond, brings it down. Gonk going to be able to get the touch. No, he's going to finish it off. 4-1, takes one for the road. 4 seconds left.
And this will be a Game 2 victory and a 2-0 series lead for Ellevens. It's not that Nocturns has not been in these games, but a couple of defensive mistakes left them in a hole early, and they were not able to climb out no matter how many shovels you give them. We look at a 4-1 lead, and we look at a 4-1 win. This will stand. And it's a Game 2 victory and a 2-0 series lead for Ellevens.
Oh, still alive here.
A dominant defensive effort that they had to hold on to that 1-goal lead and then break things open with 60 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, that last play there just showing how aggravating of a team this can be to play against as Ellevens. Kaio gets the save, does a second save, takes it to the wall, beats the midfield off the sidewall, and takes it down himself to score that last goal. The defensive hold is really, really hard to play against. And again, I talked about stage 1 where they only allowed a half a goal per game. In stage 2 of the last Grand Series, they only allowed 1 goal per game. So even going into the finals where you're up against the top teams in the region, they still only allow typically 1 goal per match. So it's gotta be aggravating. It's one of those teams kind of like I want to say Regional 1 Top Blokes. Was it Top Blokes that was doing it? No, it was oh, I'm missing it right now. It was Greasy Meister. They were just like locked down defense. Magnifico. That whole regional, they were just locked down defense, and it was so aggravating. I feel like the defense here, looking at the score lines of the games that they typically play through, this is a team that's got to be that level of aggravation. It's just like, please let me score something. Card almost with the angle. Tander with the follow-up, can't get it. Kaio now looking for it. Gonk able to get there. Scrambles all over the place from Nocturne. They are able to keep this one out, keep the ball alive. Big clear, much needed from Zaro as he bombs it downfield.
You were talking about Magnifico, and I started getting flashbacks of KCP in Pittsburgh. Their series, just 0 goals. It was the nightmares. Let's continue forward. It's game 3. Still plenty of time in this one, but I think you got to swing the tables here. You need some momentum, whether that's an emotional talk through, whether that's calm starting to light up. You have to come out hot. I'm talking at least 2 goals to kick this one off, because Ellevens has controlled the war of attrition past midfield. Hard, not going to get there in time. Oh, Tander, just off to the left.
He shanks it.
Pain.
Tander had it, ends up sending it wide. He was sitting there boxing out with one of the defenders trying to get a touch on that, but just couldn't finish it off, and this ball is going to fall into the hands of Nocturne. As Pon looking to bring it down off the back wall, trying to do the self-pass here once again. Wasn't able to get it done. Looks for the touch! What is this? Pon! What a redirect!
I don't even know how he gets up to this. I think Gonk missed the challenge, and just the presence of mind. I think that's, the presence of mind to restabilize.
It's a disgusting
like that.
touch.
Again, these are the types of hits you need. If you want to win this series, you want to come back from a 2-0 deficit, you need to have X-level plays. This is one of those. You just have to start stepping up as a team. Gonk going to try to play towards the corner. He won't get there in time, but 2 commit so they can center out. A couple of awkward hits as both teams are vying for a spot, and the challenge falls back down to the ground. Should we go there, we will. No boost, though. Tander going to grab the corner, and now you can get back to midfield, but a booming hit is what's required for this play to ensue, and at the moment, they have not been able to clear it out of their blue half. Finally, Card's going to try to do so, but Pon is there, up to Zaro, back down for a teammate, and a booming clear comes out.
Zaro looking at the touch, able to get it just over Kaio, but Tander gets, Card actually going to get the finish, so pass off from Tander, Card comes in, just barrels through, finishes it off, ties it up, 1-1.
That's a posterizer right there. Card coming in with the Shack Slam to make this a 1-1 game. 3 minutes even, dead on the clock. But plenty to play through, and so much more in store for us. This is only our first series between you and I in Super. If it keeps going like this, we keep getting, physical goals and crazy plays, it's going to be a fun day. I'm excited. I think the Woodpecker died. What a touch. Oh, my! Kyle with the ba-bam!
I looked away for 1 second to respond to production, and a goal goes in. Kaio with the redirect. Ooh, actually, pretty nice redirect there. Just under Zaro, unable to get there.
I'm just really glad that Woodpecker died. I'm glad he's gone. 2:39. It's a 1-goal game. The Card's trying to make it 3-1. Cannot come down with it. Does get the touch. And back the other way. A big booming clear.
It's interesting. You see Card go up, and you can tell that these players have a lot of respect for him when he goes up for the ball, because they give him all the time in the world. They expect something to come in. They're expecting him to do this. This is the expectation. Card with a great redirect here. Off the pass from Kaio to himself off the backboard. What a hit.
Nothing to say about that. That was just... Oh, there's 3-1. This is the 11s we were expecting, man. This is everyone does everything. Rotation, recoveries, recommitments, offensive pressure, defensive prowess, second touches. Tander going to be there. Center back out. Carr going to try his hand at things. And he will recenter. Kyle not in position, but they control midfield, and they will not relinquish this pressure.
They use passing so much. I actually love seeing this. This is a team I'm actually really enjoying watching. Ellevens is doing all sorts of stuff here. Back passes, bringing them out to the sidewall. They're just looking to control the ball. They don't want to let the other team touch it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a touch towards net or have a touch to move it downfield. They're literally just trying to play keep away.
Hey, just kill time. And there's a lot left on the clock. That's one of your best efforts when you're up 2 goals. Just take time away from the other team. And that makes it so frustrating because when you're not going to net, when you're not pushing the ball towards net, you're cutting off any transitional attack that the other team might have. So they're just having to play like awkward lockstep defense with you. And it makes things so difficult. You lose rhythm as an offense when you can't find a way to extend the ball. And they're doing such a good job at that. 56 seconds left. It should be a 3-0 win. This lead might stand, but at the moment, I just don't see any way, unless there's a booming clear and a breakdown in defense in the lower third. I don't see a single way at the moment how Nocturns...
I thought he had it. Tander has the finish, though. Doesn't matter.
Nocturns, they can't do anything right now. It's just so much offense. Well, that'll do it for this series. It looks like it's a 3-0 win. And, I think if we were betting people, we would probably be right now. 42 seconds left. Surely anything's possible, but at this point, all the momentum, all of the swing, the war of attrition has been won. It's Ellevens with a dominant lead, 3 goals at that.
Yeah, this has really been, at the start, it kind of back and forth, and then once they got ahead, 11 just kind of played a lockdown, really solid rotational play, and at no point left any open net. They really just gave no room to Nocturne to get anything done. Carr narrowly gets that one away from Zaro.
We'll take one for the road.
Why not?
Would you like one for the road? Yeah, put it in a doggy bag. Who cares?
Yes, please.
GG's all around. Yes, please. We love that. It's a 4-2 win. And it's a 3-0 series win. Ellevens making very quick work. And unfortunately for Nocturns, they will drop down to 1-2, I believe.
Yep.
And now we sit with Ellevens just needing one more win to make it through the playoffs next weekend.
Well, that's a bit more of, the 11s that we were expecting to see. Yeah. Once they started getting into form, they definitely held it down. They don't let the other team touch the ball. They give up very few goals. They give up very few clean look opportunities on the net, and they really held down that series beginning to end. I take that back. Game one was a little back and forth.
Yeah.
Once they figured out the pacing, though, of Nocturnes, they really locked it down. They took full possession. They had control of that game. They had control of the pitch from the start of the clock to 0 seconds left in those following 2 matches. It was all 11s.
Yeah, it really was. Game 1 was close, but games 2 and 3, I mean, you're talking about starting off game 2 with 2 back-end mistakes that lead to a 2-0 scoreline. How do you come back from that? You need explosive offense. You need it right there. They weren't able to get it. Game 3 was a bit of a blowout, but we expected this. Ellevens is that caliber team. They are number 1 in their region for a reason. Look, Nocturnes put up a fight, but sometimes it's the old esports strat, Super. You run into a team that's better. They're just better. They're going to keep being better, and that's what matters. So looking at how Ellevens has played and kind of looking at where the rest of the teams sit today, do you think they're going to make the run? Do you think they're going to end this one 3-1 and go into next weekend into playoffs and crown themselves champions? Or do you see someone else rising up to challenge them?
I don't see somebody else stepping up to challenge them. They took that loss earlier, and you could see that they bounced back. They went into that first game. They weren't really in the right headspace, and it kind of had a little bit of a back and forth. But if they play like they did in games 2 and 3, whoever draws them in the next round, I'm sorry. They're playing hot. They've got shots. Cards hitting some nutty redirects. Their rotations are solid. The number of pass plays where they just play keep away and they're completely comfortable making 90-degree cut back passes towards their own net, knowing that player's there.
Right.
Their awareness of each other, I think it's just going to be really, really tough to come up against Ellevens.
It certainly will be, but if ever there was a time to make a run and kind of knock down the kings of Latin America, now is the time, because coming into a major, coming into qualifications for playoffs for said major, that's where teams probably make the most mistakes. At some point, they're going to hit lockstep. Their personalities will come out as the pressure gets increased. But at this point, now come in with your haymakers and try to knock them down if you can. But one of the cool things is that this is one of the first times a lot of viewers are seeing a Latin American Rocket League. So if that's the case, make sure you use hashtag RLCSX and add us at RL Esports. Let us know what you think and keep yourself involved in the discussion like we do here on the desk. When we return, we have another series for you guys and more Latin American Rocket League. Do not go anywhere and stay up to date with the discussion. We'll be back in just a minute.